Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your Week 3 start and sit video for the tight end position. Again, this is based off of full PPR or half PPR. Of course, if you have questions, hit me up in the comments down below to help you guys out with your lineup questions. Again, Week 3 tight end position, let's jump right into it. All right, so again, week 3 is here. We've got the tight end position, which is probably the most difficult position to really try to figure out who you should put in your lineup week in and week out. Unless you have some of those tight ends that just continuously have some success. But what's odd about this year, some of those tight ends have not fared very well. But do not give up. Do not get rid of them. I still think they have a lot of great games ahead of them. And these are your obvious starts at the tight end position. So again, at the tight end position, I had to put the guys that you probably drafted pretty early, even if they haven't had great success, like Travis Kelce or Sam Laporta. These are guys that are still big parts of their offense. You've got to put them in your lineup. Now, the first tight end I'm going to recommend as a good start is going to be Kyle Pitts versus the Chiefs. Look, Chiefs have allowed the most points to the tight end position, allowing 29. Yes, you heard that right. 29 points a game to the tight end position, allowing an average of 138 yards a game, as well as 12 receptions per game, which is crazy to me. Kyle Pitts has not been the tight end we had hoped for, especially after where he had a promising rookie year, and of course, very athletic, but also signs still point to a strong season with Kirk Cousins at the quarterback position. Again, Pitts has not been great or very successful, but I do believe in this matchup. I do believe that he has to shine. I think Kirk Cousins finds him at least one touchdown in this game. I do believe he goes over 70 yards and has a really good game this week. Now, maybe you're someone who's got Kyle Pitts. He has a great game. Maybe you may want to consider trading him away for another tight end and maybe something else, depending on how well he performs. But I do like Kyle Pitts a lot this week. Another tight end I like this week is going to be Jake Ferguson versus the Ravens. Right now, Jake Ferguson has been cleared from injury, which is fantastic. Without limitations, Ravens are allowing 90 yards per game to the tight end and just over 17 points as well. Last week alone, Brock Bowers, the rookie tight end for the Raiders, was outstanding and played phenomenally. Jake Ferguson is an absolute huge piece to the Dallas Cowboys offense, and realistically, you can see it last week when Dallas performed. They didn't have a lot of weapons outside of CeeDee Lamb. Yes, Brandon Cooks is a good wide receiver, but even then, Dallas needs some help. Dak needs some help. With that said, you've got Jake Ferguson back this week off of the injury, which is great. A lot of people were worried when he went down in week 1. He's definitely one of Dak's favorite targets, and I expect him to have a really successful week against the Ravens. Now, the last tight end I'm going to mention as a good start this week is going to be Jonnu Smith versus the Seahawks. With Skylar Thompson getting the start, the tight end position usually is the backup quarterback's favorite target. Last week, Jonnu saw an increase in targets and he played very, very well. And I do expect that very similar type of expectation this week. He's going against the Seahawks, where they allowed Hunter Henry last week to have over 18 fantasy points. And again, I do think sometimes when you got a backup quarterback, play calling is different. They're going to play it safe. They're not going to throw as far. Even though you have got great wide receivers on the outside in Waddle and Tyreek Hill, I do think Miami changes a lot. I think McDaniels has to adjust if they want to have any type of success. And I think Jonnu is going to be a byproduct of that. And I think he's going to have a really good week this week. Now, as far as the sit position goes, as far as tight ends, I'm not trusting a lot of these guys. The first guy I'm not trusting this week is going to be Mike Gesicki versus the Commanders. Now, I talked a lot about Mike Gesicki being a great waiver wire tight end to grab, but this matchup is really tough. The Commanders are the best against the tight end position, only allowing 1 reception all season. They absolutely shut out the Giants tight ends last week. I know they're not obviously the biggest threat at the tight end position, but they, again, did not allow a reception at all last week to the tight end. And now they get to go against Joe Burrow's favorite target as of right now. But I do think Mike Gesicki is going to struggle, because I also think with T. Higgins expected to be back on Monday night, I think he's going to get a lot more targets his way, which again limits the targets towards Gesicki. I think the old Joe Burrow is going to show up with both Higgins and Chase out there. So again, I'm going to sit him. Now, another tight end that's probably going to be a big one is going to be Dalton Kincaid versus the Jaguars. Jaguars have actually kept tight ends to only 2.7 points a game and only 23 yards total so far this season. Kincaid has struggled. He hasn't been the tight end that we had hoped or expected for him, especially in an offense that doesn't have a lot of great wide receivers. So Kincaid was expected to be the guy. But right now, he has not played very well. I do expect that to change over the season, but this is a matchup I'm really kind of nervous. Now, if you have Dante Kincaid, I do expect you to start him. I understand why you wouldn't sit him. But if you have a better option, or, again, hit me up in the comments. Maybe I can try to help you out and give you some insight. But don't be surprised if Kincaid lays another dud this week and give you even more frustration. So I'm really concerned with that one. And the last tight end I'm going to sit this week is going to be Cole Kmet versus the Colts. Well, what hasn't been said about the Bears passing attack, I mean, they've just struggled. Caleb has not looked amazing. And I know there's a lot of people already jumping on the bandwagon of him being a bust. Give it some time. With that said, the Bears offense doesn't look great. Do I expect some changes? Sure. They've got to. They have to if they're going to have any type of success for this season, because I think they will waste away a really good Bears defense. On top of that, the Colts are actually pretty good against the tight end. They're only allowing 5.9 points a game, and the only way I do expect Cole Kmet to have any success is if he's got to score a touchdown in this game. I really don't think that's going to be great. Caleb Williams not been really targeting him down there, and he's not been throwing touchdowns. He's having some issues there. So again, if I have Cole Kmet, I'm sitting him. Now, my sleeper of the week is going to be Brenton Strange versus the Bills. He plays for the Jaguars. He's filling in, obviously, with an Evan Ingram, who's now going to miss the game again. Strange had a pretty decent game. He had 6 targets last week when he got the start. He had over 65 yards on 3 receptions. And the Bills right now are allowing 12 points a game to the tight end position and over 50 yards receiving. So, again, a really good matchup. I like him as a nice little sleeper because I do think the Jaguars will have to keep up with Buffalo. So I like him as a nice sleeper this week. So as my start, sits, and sleepers for the Week 3 tight end position. If you guys have any other questions, whether it be this position or anything else, hit me up in the comments down below. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll check you guys out next time.